Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, fantastic. So, well, it's an eventful week last week. Very fierce, aggressive than I thought, really. Okay. Um, over the weeks, you've been pondering that the market needs to break out. Will it break upward or will it break
Downwards.
um, downward? That's been the debate. Um, following it week by week, you could see if you've been on the meet, you see how events, macros, slowly come into the market while you are, following it one step at a time. So that's why I said getting to understand market environment is key because why it does not guarantee in terms of finding entry, but at least it explains the environment for you and tell you, okay, the environment is free, the coast is free to ride, or you should apply, caution. So that's where you could know when to go aggressive, when to go a little bit careful. That's the essence of you know, putting together the fundamental, the macroeconomic, the right data together and explaining it exactly the way it is in the market is a very rare opportunity and it's actually a very smart way, of looking through the market so you don't get swallowed up with the noise. So this week, we are taking on further of what happened last week. And a little bit of what happened last week was the market priced in the inflation data from the US on Tuesday and also priced in the PPI report on Wednesday. So those two data are central bank major core data, which is Federal Reserve, okay? Because they are the guys who set monetary policy, interest rate. A market tends to price in terms of expectation. So that answered that for us. So CPI last week was very hot, especially the core CPI. Here we don't do calendar, we don't open Forex factory. Anybody can, like I said, anybody can really do that. Even a child as 10 can do that. But when it comes to us breaking down those data, even looking forward to it, that is where we know that, okay, professional is talking. Okay, and that is one of the privileges we have in capital extent. So the week is primarily centered on one thing. Is Fed going to hike rates or how long will they keep the rates unchanged, right? That is what the market is trying to find their way around now. Before now, market is saying, okay, would they hold a long time or would they eventually have a reason to cut? That was why you see USD was ranging, Euros was ranging very bad because market was trying to find a reason to say, okay, it's going to be a cut or it's going to be a hold for a long time. So that has been answered last week. It's just a one data point. If we get another data point, which is next month, that validates it, it further becomes a pure narrative in the market. So this week, we're going to maintain Euro USD and Pound USD to keep selling. I do not see anything that will change that narrative. Yes, because from economic perspective, it is still what it is. Although we have FOMC minutes on Wednesday, what that data will do, I think we captured it on this report, on this outlook. Let me find that. Let me find that for you guys. Sorry if I'm just talking from my head. Just what it is. Okay. When is the yes, I think one it is key volatility. Yeah, you can see in our week in contest, you see that we have FOMC minutes, right? Now, what the FOMC minutes primarily going to tell us is how does every member in the FOMC sees inflation. All right. Before now, the market has been seeing inflation as perhaps just a headline from the energy shock we had from the Iran-US war, but currently is beginning to price into major components where it becomes a concern, like the core inflation, services inflation, housing inflation, and all of that. So apart from the headline, the core data are beginning to perceive that, oh, inflation is becoming a thing to take note of or worry about. And when the market begins to price high inflation, how central bank counter such scenarios is to hike rates, is to hike their interest rates or hold their interest rate for a longer period of time. And that becomes an hawkish environment, for that market. So what does that mean is it's going to support this. Most times, it's going to support the strength of that currency. So because the market is saying Federal Reserve to hike rates or to hold it for a longer period of time, USD has to gain strength. And everything that is paired to Euro USD and to USD will price lower, like Euro USD and Pound USD. So that's just primarily what it is we are seeing in the market at the moment. All right, so we have two key data coming in from Tuesday to Wednesday, which is the primary window where we want to see how market is going to price going forward. One of it is on Tuesday, we have the UK labor report. Well, the labor report does not have much significance in the market right now. But on Wednesday, we have UK CPI, which holds higher probability in current market regime. So I believe that the market will begin to price in direction from tomorrow down to Wednesday, of course, to the end of the week. So I want to see how the FOMC is seeing the inflation report on Wednesday. Of course, we're not going to wait for the report to be out. We're going to, of course, they priced in data already, but by Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll begin to see where the market wants to go. Will the market continue the direction we expect to go, which is for Euro US and Pound US to sell? We'll get out of those reports. We'll get to see that tomorrow, particularly from the 2-year yield from Tuesday. We'll get to see that. Going to my next slide, there are quite a number of things here. Don't really want to bore you guys with many English, many statements here, but just in summary, what this scenario matrix, and yield reaction matrix is all talking about is just to give us a data clue of why we think Euro USD should continue is the direction we think it should, which is to price lower. And if you look at it, it has the higher probability compared to others. Okay, the scenario matrix is just a probability-based scenario using available data and expectation from the market to build a case. All right, to say this is where the market should do for this week based on the available data, based on available report that is in our disposal. So that is what it says for us. Then we expect the yield, the 2-year yield. The 2-year yield is one of the primary core ingredients if you want to see what the market, is doing. And that is the base case of how we want to see things and how we want to make sure things flows. So 2-year yield above 4% or relatively to 4% keeps the Euro USD and Pound USD on a downward trend. 3.8 to 4%, still keeps it bearish, but not too strong, which I doubt if the market will price 3.8 really. Okay, so that gives us that validation we need. Then Euro USD and Pound USD is priced to sell, and that is on the macro perspective. And I think as we go forward, we'll see better on the technical side.
Right, Mr. George, I think that's a good one because you actually shared my perspective generally around this. It just shows my perspective change. I don't think there's anything different I would have said from what you've said here. So what I would do is I think I'll just share my chart. So look at things from from the technical perspective. Let me see. Just stop sharing from your end. Let me see. Just stop sharing from your end. Let me see from here. Guys, confirm that you can see my screen. Hello guys, confirm that you can see my screen from your end. Confirm you can see my screen. Confirm with a yes or a no, but if you can see my screen or not. All right, fine, that's good. So now let's look at general. So for some of you guys who have been following me for the longest of time, one of the first things I like to look at is the XY, right? The XY. That's one of the first guys I like to look at, and oftentimes I like to have a clear picture of what it is, right, or what is going on. So let me just clear all these lines so you see. Now you see from your own side that what we're having here is from the weekly time frame have been a clear strong range. Right, it's just a clear price ranging between this resistance zone and this green level support level. Now looking at it also from a daily time frame perspective, right? You see that there's something about this area here. Something about this area. Let me just use a rectangular block. Something about this area that makes it kind of significant, right? And this, I know I needed to bring this to our attention is because while we look at price to continue pricing down around Euro, USD, we also need to look at see the technical outlook or try to appreciating the technical outlook from the dollar index because I know the dollar. Because when it says they can't see my screen again, how come? Who else is having the same challenge? Who else cannot see my screen again? Who else cannot see my screen too? Let me be sure. Who else cannot see my screen? Who else cannot see my screen? Who else cannot see my screen? Just comment. Can you all see my screen? Yes or no? Let me just finish because someone just commented that they cannot see my screen. I can see it. Okay, that means nearly favor. I think it's from your end. Everyone else can see. We are good. The person should check his or her network. All right, Mr. Lawal. That's that's a bit harsh, but it's fine. Please just check your network. All right, check your network. So now this is the dollar index, right? And from the daily time frame perspective, now this area is kind of significant because we notice price has been reacting around this area. Every time we had like a double top here, while this was like the neckline that got broken. Price came, retested it, and kind of crashed down. We were there now again. Price is there again, and you can see that you can see the reaction, immediate reaction from the sellers around that zone, right? You can see the immediate reaction from the sellers just around that zone. So this is another area I also want to look out for. Now this is around the dollar index, and you know that this guy has a direct impact uh, um, on the USD base pairs, right? On the USD base pairs. Now, also, if you also want to bring out the Fibonacci, for instance, around the technical flow, so you see that you see why this area was why price bounced off this area, right? So on the daily time frame, and if I want to look at it from based on immediate market condition, from this zone to this level, you see that this level is also a very respected area. As just been a resistance, it's also a 50% zone level. The trend also confirmed it. Fibonacci trend confirmed this area as a kind of a reversal area. That's the point. That's the word. As a place, as an area for price reversal. 50% Fibonacci resistance, trend. So you could call this area a golden zone. Right? Some traders will call this area a golden zone. But let's say if it closes bearish like this, more likely it's going to continue bearish, which means the Euro USD, JP USD bank might be experiencing a stronger pullback. But how this guy closes today will be is important to what to continue happening around the US dollar index, right? And generally around the USD based peers, right? So JPY basket has not been the best of pair lately. You can see the way it is. Has not been the best of pair lately. So I'm not sure I'm interested in it. Right. So let's look at Euro USD first to see what is going on here. And this is Euro. Let me clean all these many lines. Okay, let's not forget, right? We had a sell signal from Mr. George on last week, and that played that very nicely. And I think I'll explain that to you. This was it. This was the call. Let me just show us before I explain it. This was the call. A sales call on Euro USD sell, and we milked this sell. Right. So some of us were on the for an end challenge. We took this sell and milked it down to this base. So you can see price even broke it. Right. So I just need to show us this in case I get to cancel it. All right. Come on, give me a second. Give me a second. Let me do something. Let's stop this for purpose sake. All right. So let's see Euro USD precisely from the weekly time frame. We've been in a range. Let me clean all these lines. All these many stores. Let me clean them. So from the weekly time frame, you notice that the price has been ranging. So if anytime price gets to this resistance, it always crashes lower. And that has happened. But this is like a strong bearish engulfing on the weekly time frame. So definitely this guy, no matter what this guy is doing this week, it's gonna still price is expected to crash down to this base. Right? Price is expected to crash down to this base, except maybe what the phenomena that happened here, right, based on the way the XY is looking, right? This phenomena here can likely happen if the XY maintain that bearish flow. What happened here? This massive bullish candle move here that's cleared all the sales momentum on this point might happen, right? So we might just end. This is a probability, right? I like to look at the market on both from both perspectives. So I try not to be rigid with my bias at based on market flow, market structure. This guy's personal sell. No, I like to be open or give room for eventualities, right? So this is why risk management is very important. No matter how clear you are about your direction, about market direction, no matter how confident you are about the direction of the market, it's important you give room for eventualities. Now this is where risk management, you have to be very, very solid on your risk management, very solid on your risk management, right? It's very important you're solid on your risk management if you want to survive this game long term, right? So like I was saying, right, this could happen. Could see price from here just go higher, take stops before maybe the crash. This can happen. I needed to clear this with you guys. I need to let you know that this can eventually happen. Now, for the most, right, for a long time, price had been playing the range here, right? For a long time. We've been looking at price around this range. Right, we've all been looking at price around this range. So if you look at this carefully from a daily time frame, we have a clear double top, we have the neckline that has been breached, and generally price might just consolidate around there before they dump. So this is the next might see price get here before we crash here. So this is what we all expect to see based on technical flow. This is what we expect to see. Right? That this guy will just maybe test this area, or just from here tomorrow might close bearish and this guy might just dump directly from here, from these points here, and just dump down to these points. This is possible too, right? So we're not overruling anything. We're not overruling anything. So this is also very much possible, right? But like I said before, I like to give room for eventualities and possibilities in the market, because anything is possible in this market. Just anything is possible in this market. So this is what we expect to see going forward, right? That price could continue falling because we have a clear break. Momentum is stronger with the sellers. With the sellers, yes, this is true. Momentum is to the sellers, correct, right? But then we also need to be open-minded, right? So if for instance I would ever sell this guy, this it from the 4 hours time frame. So price might just maybe just price I just want to go check this out. I just want to go and check this area out before the dump. Very possible, right? So we need to, like I always told us last week, always sell at lower highs. Never try to sell at any point. If you learn to sell at lower highs, you make more money, right? It is a more profitable area to sell. It's very basic, but it's a more profitable area to sell. Right. So personally, I want to see where price will do. This is from 1 hour. You can see currently we're having a pullback. So this is not the time you want to sell until you see those internal structural breaks or strong candlestick confirmations from higher time frames. Internal structural breaks from lower time frames and candlestick confirmations from higher time frames. This is what validates entries. Right? This is what validates your entries. Your entry on Euro USD. Right? So to validate your entry on Euro USD. So for those of us who want to sell, this is what we want to be waiting for. But if it ever chooses to do this, I'm sorry, pick your code. Tell my meeting. So it's my network, guys. It's my network. It's my network. Can you see my screen now? Confirm that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now, guys? Yeah, please, guys, confirm you can hear me. Yes, I can see your screen. Right, come. That's good. All right. So like I said before, so that's what I'm looking at for on Euro USD. Right. That's what I'm looking at for on Euro USD. So let me look at JPUSD to see what's going on around JPUSD. Same market outlook, right? But this one, the seismometer was very strong. So you can see like almost the same thing we had with JPU or Euro USD, the same break, right? So pullback, it's very much imminent. Pullback is what's going back. Current market is on a pullback. Market tend to pull back, so you don't want to go and sell immediately, no, right? So let's price get to this point before maybe a possible dump. But if it breaks above here, right? If price breaks above here, we create for a retest of this base. Then we take it higher, right? So these are the two scenarios I'll be waiting for on GU, right? So I will pull back with this area, clear candlestick confirmations, or go straight on the lower time frames, internal candles, internal structural break, and we short it down. Or if it breaks above, we wait for a pullback on the higher time frames, then we'll buy the rally. So for us to buy, price needs to be inside this area. It needs to be above this zone here for us to buy. It needs to go break it, maybe a pullback, and we'll buy it from there. So these are the two scenarios I'm looking at for on GBP/USD. Right, from my end on GBP/USD. These are what I'm looking at for on GBP/USD. Right, these are what I'll be looking at for on GBP/USD. Right, maybe for other pairs like USD CHF, what to expect. So there's just something about this trend. I think this was something we marked last week, right? Something we looked at, we marked that last week, and you can see that price seem to be respecting the trend. So for those who might want to short this guy, you need to wait for this guy to break this internal structure. This guy, you need to wait for it to at least break. Right, guys. So the thing is, if this guy can break this low, if he can break this trend, break out of this trend, for us to short this guy, break out of this trend, then it will be a good time to sell to this point. Right? If breaks clearly break out of this trend, we will wait for internal maybe pullback on the 1 hour time frame also. We'll sell on the lower high on from 1 hour time frame and short it down to this base. Right? Short it down to this base here, or to this green level here. Right? But if that does not if you're going to continue higher with this guy, let me show you something. This is USD right? So just give me a bit. Yes, let me look at this carefully because it can be a bit, it can be very rough. Let's see. So if you're gonna do anything, if you're gonna buy this guy, right? What you'd want to wait to see is a price to break just above, right? Just to break around above this area, right? It just break, clearly break above. Just see a clear, strong bullish power candle above this area, right? Around this area. That would be a clear sign to buy it at this green level. Right? So I like right to see a clear bullish value around this level. So if a clear bullish candle close on the 4 hour time frame, like and then go like a bullish engulfing around here, this area, right? Like a clear bullish engulfing around this area will be enough reason for us to buy USD right? Will be enough reason for us to buy USD clear bullish engulfing around here, clear bullish candle break around this area will be enough reason for us to buy it, right? So that's just my view on USD. But if it's gonna break, if it breaks below this trend, then we'll short it down. Go the 1 hour time frame, look for lower highs to take advantage of it to this base, right? So the next is on the USD Canadian dollar. So this guy has maintained a strong bullish flow, even against all odds. Even against all odds, has maintained a strong bullish flow, right? Even against all odds. So just maybe, right? Just maybe, I feel this flow is too steep. Right? Anytime there is a steep uh market move like this, a steep market move like this. Uh, okay, let me see. Oh, Mr. George, you want to say something? Hello, Mr. George.
No, 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 no.
Okay, you're raising your hand. That was why.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So, that this move is really steep. It's a very steep trend. Sorry, it's a very steep move. So maybe I just think that this guy might still come lower from here. Then before we see any rally, I think it might just come down around this area. Just take some stop losses, for instance, before continue high, before it continues higher. And that's also what I think about USD Canadian dollar. Right, the flow is too steepy. But let's just see how this keeps building up. USD JPY is not a pair I'm interested in really. I'm not generally JPY pairs are not pairs I'm interested in. You can see this is what's this guy? What's this guy now? This is AUD USD, right? You can see how some of these areas can hold. This was an analysis last week, and you can see the price got this base here and it's respecting it already, right? So we might just continue this range, continue higher with this. I think this guy, one thing about AUD right? It knows how to play around areas, around zones. It likes to move from zone to zone. So to me, this guy is going to really keep rallying to this, maybe to this point or to this point here. And that's just what I'm sure is going to happen. Same thing with US's USD NZD, right? Same thing with USD NZD. I think this guy is going to continue higher to this area here. So it means the pullback might be seeing really deep pullbacks, right? Really deep pullbacks. We just pray it doesn't change the course. These pullbacks don't turn out to become reversals, like a reversing, right? Back into those areas we looked at. It seems as though we've broken out of on like on Euro USD and JP USD, right? So let's see. This is gold, right? Gold seems to be holding its own. Yeah, this was how we viewed gold last week together. We captured these areas and for just reasons causing to be respecting this funny trend we plotted around here. Gold seems to be respecting this trend that we mapped out around here. Right? Let me see it on 2 hours time frame. Gold is looking like it's building up for a bullish move from around here. Right? Although currently the momentum is still the sellers, but from what is showing, let me see 1 hour time frame. It's giving us that inverse head and shoulders. Some of you trade chart patterns. You can see, right? Like that inverse head and shoulders market flow, market look. So a possible, but I think I will just map it. Let me just see what happens from around here. If it breaks above this green level, the most generally it's going to continue higher. Gold is going to continue higher. Right? If gold is able to break above this green level, we expect to see gold to continue higher from here. Right? We expect to see gold continue higher from here. Right? Let's see. Now this pair, not this guy. This guy. So it had moved significantly, kind of. This was, remember, you guys remember this guy, Abby? That was a nice one time, and we are waiting for it to get to our area of interest. It did get there, right? Picked us up, and it's already buying, right? It's already buying. Some of you guys have missed out on this call. And so we've already said we had our limit buy orders just about this place that got triggered, and this trade is already on. Right, so I think some of you might still join us. I will call us back in later. Let's see how within this week, between Tuesday and Thursday, I'll be able to call us back to some of you who have not been triggered, who have not entered this particular trade. Because I know they were looking for over 1,700 pips. That's the target on this particular guy. I just need to mention this guy for us. The target on this guy is about 1,700 pips. So the waist is on, right? The waist is on, and I don't want any of you guys to be left out on this catch, right? I wouldn't want you guys to be left behind on this catch. So let's see how it goes. Let's just see how it goes from here. From within the week, I'll definitely give us a head. So once we see a new higher low, right? So the next higher low that will form maybe tomorrow on the trade and end challenge, I'll call you guys in to buy Euro AUD. All right. So let's see. I think that's basically it on my end. Right, but then emphasis majorly around Euro USD and GP USD from the data we looked at. So don't forget on GPUSD, this is what we're waiting for. This pullback, this area. We're looking at possible sales. But if it breaks it, then wait for a pullback to buy. Why? Same thing we're waiting for on Euro USD. Right, let's get here. Let's see for the sales. But if it continues into this zone, wait for pullbacks to continue buying. Right. Okay, so at this point, I'll be open for any questions or anything else, Mr. George, anything else we want to add from the technicals, or why you guys can type your questions on the chat section. If there's any pay you want me to analyze for you, to any pay you want me to look at for you, you can drop that on the chat section. Let's all look at it together. All right, so let's just keep that, or let's keep it coming while I pause. This is the XY, and from look of things, let's just see how it progresses from here. For you to take part in the trade calls, trade ideas within the week, just fund your account capital extent to the minimum of $100. So somebody, okay, you say you're funded, okay, fine. So contact your account manager, the person that invited you on this call. Contact the person so that you can have access to give you a link to join the trade and end challenge tomorrow morning by 10 a.m. So Mr. James say Euro USD 30 minutes time frame is going to sell. Let's look at it together. Euro USD from 30 minutes time frame. It's not looking so to me. Right, it's not looking so. This is Euro USD from 30 minutes time frame. Right, it's not looking so to me, but I think let's see what price would this from 30 minutes time frame. We are seeing more buy moment, more buying, right? Because this was like a higher low, and we are heading higher to this point. Let's say maybe you are targeting looking at this reactive area here, and from here you are saying that it's going to sell. I don't think that is going to happen. I know this area you're looking at, and you feel this is this is where you mark as your own resistance. And this is why if some of you guys who joined the this TDA strategy masterclass, I told you guys something that on that call that stop drawing your resistance levels from 30 minutes, 15 minutes time frame. Those levels are not reliable enough. All right. So somebody who mark this now and say, let me go and sell. Price will go and stop you out. Price will just go and stop you out before anything else. Right. So this is not the kind of market you want to go and sell yet. As a better way to do all these things. You can get access to the recording on the TDS strategy from your accounts manager, the person that gave you the link to join this call. You can send the person or ask the person questions to see how to get access to that strategy session. So you see how to properly plot these zones, where to plot time frames to plot them, and how best to use them to trade the market and make money for yourself. Right? So also, I think, is there any other questions for me? So I don't think in the absence of any other question, I think I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. For those of you who have funded account capital extent, right, join us tomorrow 10 a.m. Right, so where we'll get to look at trading opportunities for execution. So if you're on this call, you're here to do so, please ensure you get your accounts funded, capital extent. So because they are the ones who capital extent is one broker that is funding these sessions. And it's the reason why we are using them to trade, and over time they're proven to be the best. Really, they're proven to be the best over some of the very popular brokers. Maybe I think a try will convince him. Right, the spreads are amazing. Right, you get to interact with some AI, also some bots. You're interacting with a human being who's able to answer your questions, direct you, and solve any issues you'll be having using the platform. So it's just an amazing platform. right? Compared to every other, several other platforms out there. All right, guys. So in the absence of any more questions, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow morning 10 a.m. and we get to look at the markets together for trade execution. So let's see by then if the market has priced to those areas of concern for us, if the price has gone to those levels or those zones, we'll also see, okay, should we execute or should we, is it still slow or is it fast enough to get us there? So till then, tomorrow, I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow morning 10 a.m. See you guys then. Mr. George. All right, guys.